You're sitting in an exam hall, a CCA paper in front of you, and suddenly you realize, you don't just need formulas, you need to think like the examiner. Worse, you need to think like a CFO. That's the brutal truth about ACCA. Passing isn't just about remembering accounting standards or management techniques, it's about training your brain to process finance, strategy, and risk like the top 1% of business leaders. And let's be honest, most ACCA prep you've seen online? Outdated slides, hour-long boring lectures, and tutors reading bullet points like robots. That's not education, that's just content dumping. At Education Bench, our promise for ACCA 2025 is radically different. We don't just prepare you to pass, we prepare you to lead. We prepare you to survive and thrive in the cutthroat world of business and finance. This is not just an ACCA course, it's a transformation. Let's break it down from the beginning. The philosophy behind our ACCA course is simple. You deserve a learning experience that doesn't just make you exam ready, but future ready. Think of Netflix, Tesla, or even companies like FTX, which collapsed overnight because of poor financial decisions. If you only study for exams, you'll never understand why businesses rise and fall. That's why our core philosophy is, we don't just teach ACCA. We teach you to think like a CFO. It's not about memorizing standards, it's about developing fluency. The kind of fluency where you could walk into a boardroom and talk numbers, governance, and business strategy with complete authority. Now, let's talk about how this course is structured. Every ACCA paper has been reimagined into 3 premium layers. The first layer is what we call core mastery. Forget marathon lectures. We give you cinematic, story-driven lessons that run for 12 to 20 minutes each. Imagine learning financial accounting not from a dry list of double entries, but through the trial balance of Netflix. Imagine visual storytelling with real case studies, animations, and infographics that actually stick in your memory. Instead of trying to memorize, you'll start to see patterns, frameworks, and memory maps that make complex topics effortless. Students who went through our pilot batch said it felt less like a lecture, more like watching an engaging business documentary, but with the exam hacks built into the story. But here's where most students fail. Exams are not just about knowledge, they're about the examiner's psychology. That's why the second layer is exam intelligence. We walk you through past papers, not just solving them, but literally explaining how the examiner sets traps. For example, in performance management, examiners love throwing tricky variance analysis questions with unnecessary data. We show you exactly how to spot those red flags. Each week, students face quiz battles, competing on a global leaderboard. Imagine answering quick-fire questions at midnight, seeing your name climb the ranks against peers from London, Dubai, New York, and Singapore. That competition builds pressure, and pressure builds resilience, the same resilience you'll need in the actual exam hall. But what makes Education Bench truly different is our third layer, beyond exams. Most ACCA providers stop once you pass. We go further. You'll analyze Tesla's financial reporting issues, study how Amazon approaches investment appraisal, or learn governance failures through Enron and Wirecard. You'll even see guest lectures from actual finance managers, auditors, and entrepreneurs, people who live this profession every single day. On top of that, we integrate AI tools like ChatGPT, Excel, and Power BI directly into the learning. You won't just study theory, you'll practice how modern finance professionals actually work. For example, in strategic business reporting, we'll show you how to generate a draft disclosure note using AI, then refine it for compliance. That's the kind of training no textbook gives you. Let's bring this to life with a few mini case studies. Meet Sarah, a student in the UK who had already failed financial accounting twice. She told us every time she opened the book, she felt like she was drowning in standards and rules. When she joined Education Bench, we started her with a storytelling module that opened with the collapse of Enron and its accounting fraud. Suddenly, financial reporting wasn't just rules, it was a narrative of greed, manipulation, and governance. That story hooked her, and once hooked, she started seeing accounting standards as weapons to detect fraud rather than boring regulations. Sarah not only passed FA on her third attempt, she scored above 70, and today she says the difference was that she could finally connect the dots between exam content and real life. Or take Ahmed, a student from Dubai who worked full-time while preparing for ACCA. His challenge wasn't understanding, it was time. He had only 2 hours every evening. Traditional 2-hour lectures were impossible for him. But because our modules are short form and cinematic, he could complete 1 or 2 lessons every night. The integrated study planner inside the Education Bench app tracked his progress, adjusted his schedule, and even reminded him which topics he was weak in. The result? Ahmed passed 2 papers in 1 sitting, despite his job. He said it felt less like self-study and more like having a personal tutor and mentor in his pocket. Now picture Maria, a student in the US who wasn't just interested in exams, she wanted to build her resume. While studying audit and assurance, she worked on a case study where she had to review a simulated audit for Uber's governance issues. That exercise later became a conversation starter in her job interview with a Big Four firm. She told us the interviewer was shocked that a student could discuss real audit failures in global companies with that level of detail. Maria passed her paper, but more importantly, she secured a prestigious internship, because she could think like a professional. Not just like a student. Every feature of this course is designed to make learning immersive and unforgettable. The AI Study Planner personalizes your journey week by week. Immersive storytelling ensures that you remember topics not as dead theory, but as part of real corporate dramas. Our Exam Hacks Hub strips away all the sugarcoating and tells you bluntly why students fail. Sometimes it's poor time management, sometimes it's not reading requirements carefully, and sometimes it's not practicing under timed conditions. Case study labs bring you into mini workshops where you do things like prepare Netflix's trial balance in FA, fix Tesla's reporting in SBR, or run Amazon's investment appraisal in AFM. Each activity makes the ACCA qualification feel alive, practical, and directly tied to your future career. And to make sure you stay motivated, we gamified everything. You earn XP for every completed module, climb leaderboards, and if you're among the high scorers, your name goes into our global Hall of Fame. That recognition doesn't just feel good, it builds a brand around your name that recruiters notice. And let's not forget community. Studying ACCA can be lonely, especially if you're an international student. That's why we built a global Slack and Discord network where students connect across continents. Imagine discussing corporate governance with someone in New York at midnight while another student from Nigeria shares their approach to the same question. Every month, we host live Q&A webinars where tutors and industry professionals answer real questions in real time. And then there's our CFO Mindset coaching sessions. This is where we go beyond exams and train you to think like leaders. Because passing exams makes you an accountant, thinking like a CFO makes you indispensable. The structure is premium yet flexible. Students can finish the program in 6 months if they go at high intensity, or spread it across a year if they balance with work. Each week includes 3 core lectures, 2 exam hack sessions, 1 case study lab, and a live Q&A. Assessments are built into the flow, weekly quizzes, monthly mocks, and AI-generated report cards that highlight not just your scores but your weak points and strengths. This isn't static learning, it's dynamic, responsive, and personal. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, pricing. Standard ACCA prep online costs around $100 to $300 per paper. That's cheap, and honestly, that's why most of it feels cheap. Education Bench is premium. Each paper ranges from $499 to $799. The full 13-paper program is $4,999 to $6,999. Some will say, that's expensive. But here's the blunt truth. What's the cost of failing ACCA 2 or 3 times? What's the cost of studying for years and still not landing the job you want? What's the cost of walking into an interview and realizing you only know theory, not application? People pay for premium because it saves them time, gives them confidence, and positions them ahead of the competition. Education Bench is not for students who want cheap shortcuts. It's for ambitious professionals who see ACCA not as a certificate but as a launchpad to global careers. This premium positioning isn't accidental, it's strategic. Our marketing doesn't scream cheap tuition. It screams authority, global standard, and transformation. Our ads say things like, the only ACCA course where Enron, Tesla, and Netflix teach you accounting. Or we don't teach to pass. We teach to lead. We position Education Bench as the Harvard of ACCA prep. If you want basic, go elsewhere. If you want elite, this is your home. But let's be clear, we're not here to sugarcoat anything. ACCA is brutal. Many students fail. Many burn out. Many never finish. But if you want to play in Tier 1 finance, you need more than just content, you need survival skills. Education Bench gives you that survival kit. Our lectures don't just teach, they entertain, shock, and stay in your memory. You won't just pass exams, you'll walk into interviews, client meetings, and boardrooms with a mindset and fluency that makes you stand out. Because at the end of the day, the truth is simple. Anyone can pass ACCA with enough time and luck. But only a few will come out thinking, speaking, and leading like CFOs. And that's the difference we're offering.